Snug?
No, I can't tell you.
Snug, 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 snug. Snug, 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 snug.
Because that's what makes it a secret. Hey there. Welcome to the Nerdy Photographer Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Fatchett. If you've never listened to the show before, welcome. Be sure to subscribe while you're here. Only takes a minute. If this is your 130th time listening, where did I leave those keys? In addition to providing entertaining and informative photography-related info, I also go on adventures with the crew of the Starship Fibonacci. At the moment, I'm making my special secret chili recipe, and Golden is trying to get the secret to my secret sauce. Speaking of secret sauce, in this episode of the podcast, I speak with Fred Agho about a lot of different things, including barbecue sauce, as well as some trade secrets that can help your photographic journey. All that after the break. Okay, now taste this.
Snug.
I agree. It needs more pepper. Are you ready to take your website design to the next level? Look no further than Elementor, the cutting-edge WordPress website builder designed for professionals like you. With Elementor, you have the power to create entire website themes and layouts that are as unique as your imagination. Say goodbye to rigid templates and constraints. Elementor empowers you to design custom headers, footers, pages, posts, archive pages, and even WooCommerce product pages, all from a single user-friendly platform. The best part? You don't need to be a coding wizard to use Elementor. Say farewell to the days of wrestling with complex code or being dependent on a myriad of plugins. Elementor offers you a seamless, code-free design experience that puts you in control. So why limit your creativity? Choose Elementor and unleash your website design potential. Elevate your online presence with a website that truly represents your vision and brand. Get started with Elementor today. Just go to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/Elementor and witness the transformation of your WordPress web design experience. It's time to build an extraordinary website with ease and finesse. Don't wait. Create with Elementor. Photographers, it's time to revolutionize your workflow with Aftershoot. Imagine culling through thousands of images in a matter of minutes, effortlessly flagging blurry shots and closed-eye pictures. Now, you can stop imagining and meet your new photography sidekick, Aftershoot, the game-changing AI photo culling and editing software. Say goodbye to hours spent sifting through images, as Aftershoot's AI can cull thousands of photos in just a few minutes, grouping together similar shots and flagging those blurry or closed-eye pics. I have been using Aftershoot for a little over a year, and I have to say, it has transformed the workflow on the portrait side of my business, culling and organizing my photos from family portrait sessions to corporate headshots in a matter of minutes. For engagements, events, and weddings, it does a great job as a first pass cull for me, since I like to go through and make sure I didn't miss anything, but those family and group photos are all solidly organized together, and that saves me so much time. You can also make your artistic vision a reality. Aftershoot's automated AI editing is customizable to your unique style. Edit thousands of images in just a few clicks, achieving consistency and brilliance effortlessly. Sign up now at nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/Aftershoot and experience the Aftershoot advantage with your first month free. Transform your workflow and transform your business. Go to nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/Aftershoot or click the link in the episode notes and free up time for what you love by letting AI handle the heavy lifting so you can focus on capturing moments and not sorting through them. Hello, and welcome to the Nerdy Photographer Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Fatchett. I'm here with Fred Agho, Fuji Fred, as you are known online. And Fred, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here.
And we're going to start off with the dice breaker. It's 14. Sorry.
What'd you say now?
It's a 14, and that is, how do you decompress? What is it that you do?
How do I decompress?
Yeah.
I don't know. So this was crazy. This last year, I realized that exercising and being around friends is a really good way for me to decompress. Like, and not around friends with camera. It's like just Fred, the person, that's around my friends. Sometimes I bring the camera and, cap some moments and stuff like that, but usually like low stress, pretty chill. And then I have a garage gym, and getting in there sometimes and just working out, that helps me go through the day a lot smoother.
Yeah, I found that I usually talk to people about how you avoiding burnout is like, like meeting up with friends with, nothing to do with work. Even if it's like my photographer friends, we're not going to talk about photography stuff, not bringing the camera. Um, and like this last year, I made a, a commitment to like really getting outside with my dog and like hiking a lot and doing a lot of like getting away from the computer as much as I can.
Yeah.
I think that
No, I make a lot of time for outdoorsy stuff. So you have to, because if not, you'll go crazy.
yeah,
Because what we do is, if you unless you're like a street photographer going out 8 hours a day, you're pretty sedentary. It's like you get the shot and then you come home and sit in front of the computer 2-3 hours.
yeah, I mean, and it's a solitary lifestyle in a lot of ways, even though you can be photographing people and doing all sorts of stuff. But then, you're at the end of the day, you're coming, like you said, you're coming home, you're sitting in front of the computer and yeah, finding ways to get up. I mean, I got my reminder, my Apple Watch reminding me like, hey, you need to stand up and get away from the computer for, you know,
Yeah,
a few minutes.
a lot of people don't talk about how lonely it is to be a photographer.
It is. It's hard. It's
It
like,
really is. And even when you're somewhere where there's a lot of people, you're still like on a job, So,
yeah, you can be
or
shooting an event and you feel like you're the only person in the room because you're just like
yeah,
focused in
because
one way.
it's cool. It's a cool when you get into an event where it's your friends there and you can like cut to the side and have little side convos, but you're not even really truly immersed in those convos because you're not trying to miss any action or anything like
Mm.
that. So you are there by yourself. So a lot of people have no idea how lonely it can be.
Yeah, it's like I did a wedding a couple of weeks ago and I completely forgot that they'd been referred to me by like a previous client. So when
Mhm.
the previous clients showed up, I was like, "Oh, I know somebody here." Like I was, like hey, and like we're talking and like catching up, and at the same time, I'm looking around the room
Yeah,
while I'm talking to them, still just
got
like,
my sentries on, trying to make sure I'm there.
yeah,
So yeah, a lot of people don't get that. I mean,
it's hard.
that's two things I'm starting to tell people. If you want to be like, if I like come across like a 20-something-year-old photographer, and I'm like, hey, you want to be super rich? Don't be a photographer. Like, I'm not saying you're not going to make good money, but if you want to be like, Bugatti, Lamborghini, this is not where it's at. And then also if you want to have like a big social group that you're always going to every, yeah, I don't, yeah, you're gonna have to do double time work as a photographer.
I mean, for me, it's why I've, my wife and I talked about it, and I'm taking a step back from weddings. I've been doing it for
Mhm.
25 years because
Oh snap!
that I don't get to hang out with people. Like when our friends are getting together, it's on the weekend. If I'm working, the last, we've been together for we're going to be 19 years this year, and I thought about all of the times like she went off to like with our friends to like hang out with them on the weekend, and I couldn't because they're like, oh well, we'll see Casey in the fall maybe. So yeah, it's that feeling of you don't get to hang out with your friends. And as far as the making money part, man, I was just reading before uh, we hopped on this call. Somebody pointing out that there was a job listing for NFL team photographer that was $19 an hour was the
That's
pay,
so crazy.
and somebody was like, "Is this for real? Is this really what it is?" And everybody like chiming in and going, "Yep, that's really what it is."
The
That's
trade off is the exposure you're getting, and they're there all day.
yeah,
So I have a friend who does it, and he's like, it's like an 8 hour day.
yeah, and it's the thing of like there most of those people were saying like that have done it were saying like you do it like that for a year and then you go somewhere else. You get the experience, you get the name on your resume, and you try to maybe go somewhere else and make more money. You know,
Yep.
doing it somewhere else, but it doesn't pay that much.
Nope. It's something unless you become like the team's lead,
Yeah.
because we got a guy out here, he's the lead, and I think he does all their stuff. And because I'm in Houston, Texas, I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of it. And I think he's in a okay position. But all the associate ones, nah,
Yeah, they're not making anything.
you're making like what, 150 bucks a day.
And those admins, man, that are doing all the social media stuff, they're going crazy. And like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm a Lions fan. I'm from Michigan originally, so it's like
Okay.
they're whoever their social media admin is nuts. Like they're constantly working. I'm like, I don't know how much you're getting paid, but I'm guessing it's not nearly enough for the number of hours you're putting in.
Because they're dropping content every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Because NFL social media has been doing really good with getting stuff out.
It's hard. It makes you feel like as a photographer that you like social media is a whole other thing that makes you feel alone as a photographer. I mean, it's both. It can both make you feel connected to people, like, hey, we just met, and now like I've met you, and this podcast is I've formed a lot of friendships because of it. People who I talk to regularly now, but social media can like also make you feel like, oh man, everybody else is doing so much stuff. And I'm not doing nearly that much. And then you stop to think like, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, man, I just keep seeing all your photos and whatever. And he's like, dude, that's stuff that I took 10 years ago. It's not like him doing this all week. I'm just constantly posting stuff that I've taken over the years. And I'm like, oh man, I really need to reset my head, as to like what you're seeing. Like social media isn't real.
No, it's a highlight reel.
Yeah. It's just what you choose to show off to people.
Yeah. But no, there's a hustle to it. I mean, it is a tool. And if you put energy into that tool, it can like most tools, they either, for the most part, they help. If you're trying to screw a screw into a piece of wood, if you put a lackluster energy into it, the screw's not going to go very far. But if you put all your force and might into the screw, you might even screw it too far, crack the wood, So I don't want people to like look at social media as like, no, it's a tool. And if you put, the effort into it or the force into it, it can go pretty far. And the cool thing, I feel like, let's say like their old way of network. I'm not saying networking is not bad, because I feel like networking's done more for me than anything. But let's see, what's a old way for photographers to connect? Let's see.
Oh, meetup groups.
I won't say your local photography groups, because my biggest client is because I went to one of those. Let's see. I don't know. Let's just say photo walk meetups, right? Let's say that. That's a screwdriver. Then posting on social media every single day, really good, quality. Not even every day. Let's just say you stay on the staying consistent, and you post once a week. That's a power drill. That they're both gonna do the same thing. It's just one does it a lot faster.
Yeah, I think it depends on, like, you have to understand, like, I always refer to it as different tools in the toolbox. Like whether it's, how you market yourself, how you network with people. And that's the other thing, like networking means, and this is something another friend of mine that I went to college with told me, and he was like, and this is the thing they never tell you, is that it's what you can do for each other. First is the people but it's not just like, oh, you're existing in a vacuum and that person is only helping you. Like they're going to call you up and be like, oh, we've got this great job that we want for you, when you've done absolutely nothing for them for the last, you have to be in their mind as the person to call for a reason. And it's like, yeah, you like when you are reaching out and say like, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Occasionally, like, you in building quality relationships for your networking, as opposed to just like, I've got 1,000 people's names and numbers, but nobody really, I'm not at the front of anybody's mind, as opposed to I've got 10 people who I'm regularly in touch with who will definitely call me when the time is right.
Yep. So yeah, we're hitting the nail on the needle right here. People, youngsters, I hope y'all listen to this one. This is going to be a great one because no, that's very true because like you, it's better to have five really good solid contacts that feed you and take care of you and put you in great positions than 100,000 people who do nothing for you at all.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
So
it's the adage of quality over quantity
yeah,
is yeah. I mean, when you talk about giving advice for people who are starting out, I mean, there's I've got a lot of advice I'd give, but it's like that's one of the things, like, stop marketing yourself to photographers. Um,
yeah. You need to market to your clients because I had about a 5 to 6 year run with weddings, and the one thing I figured out really fast was yes, marketing on social media helps, right? It gets you a lot of leads, but if you didn't have a wedding planner in your pocket,
mm,
half your year is going to be empty.
yeah,
If you don't have a wedding planner who's like, I like you, and when I get weddings that align with what you do, I'm going to call you.
yeah.
That I mean, because I know you can attest to it.
Oh,
Listen,
it's
if you go ahead.
planners and venues. Planners and
Yes,
venues even more so than planners. Venues, if you can get in with the
yes,
people at the venues, that is the first thing they're going to say. Like, that is where, like, between,
we got a guy.
but yeah, between referrals from other couples who've worked with me
Mhm.
and venues, that is like most of my wedding business. Because
Yep.
the venue person is like, likes to work with you. You send them nice photos that they can use to promote their venue.
No,
The- they're just like, hey, this guy, this is the person that I'm going to recommend to everybody who comes through here. And there's like, that's like the first experience that most couples are going to have is with that venue manager. And then they give your name to them and like say, hey, give this person a call because they're really good and they've worked here before and we like them. Um, that's just like a huge vote of confidence in your abilities that they're giving to that potential client. And that's like everywhere. You go to, like, I mean, if you're doing commercial work or corporate work, corporate event planners and people who work in events at the companies, not like the event planner who's separate from the company. But if you get in good with those people who like set up the events for the corporate, for the company,
nope.
they
I got
all
you.
talk to each other. They all talk
Yep.
to each other. So when somebody's looking for somebody, they're like, oh, hey, we need a photographer for an event. And they're like, oh, yeah, I know somebody. Like that, those worlds are very small. Those are the connections that you need to make. And I think that there's a disconnect sometimes when I talk to younger photographers who think that, like, oh, well, just look at my work. My work is amazing. Well, I mean, I can see less than amazing work on people who work all the time. If you want to work consistently, that's what they want. They want consistency and people they know are going to show up, people they know they can trust. And that's why it's hard to get in with those guys to begin with, is because
Yeah.
they want someone who is consistent.
And not to take away from social media at all, it does bring. So okay, my highest paid client is from social media. My biggest client, no, sorry. So the highest paid client is from meeting them out in the wild, right? Through going to meet groups with photographers and meeting them. My biggest client is through social media. So you now I'm not my biggest client isn't sustaining my life. It's a nice jump in pay. It's something cool to put on the internet and say this is who I work with and things like that. But my most paying client, and I'm assuming for a lot of people that don't, your planners are going to be your most paying clients. Your venues are going to be your most paying clients. The small businesses in your city that consistently work with you are going to be your most paying clients. So yeah, you might work with somebody, you know, in a year, 6, 7, 8 times, and they pay you, I don't know, just throw a round number, $20,000 over that period of time, right? Versus um, brand X comes and gives you $7,000 or
Right.
$8,000 one time.
Right.
You're living off of the 20, and the 7 is just
That's the
icing on the
cake.
cake and makes you look cool.
Yeah.
Not too many people. Now you do have anomalies. You do have guys out there who literally get the $7,000 every month from these, from brand X. But I don't know about you. That's not the norm.
It isn't the norm. I mean, I have a friend, my best friend, who's a photographer. We've known each other for he's like 20 something years, 20, almost 28 years now. He is like all like corporate commercial stuff. And it's like he has, a dozen regular clients who are like, that's just, he goes from like corporate gig to corporate gig to corporate gig among all of them. And it's just like, he's traveling all over the world. And so like that, he's that made that his focus, but it's like, he's built those relationships up over more than a decade
Okay.
to get where he is now. And it's just like, now he's got that. And it's because he started off doing that one job a year for those people.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it got to a point where they started bringing him back to do other stuff. And like, oh, well, we're just going to have you do our national meeting or whatever. And then he became like their pretty much kind of like not in-house, but like their go-to person. So that like, it can get there. It is not the typical thing where like what you're saying is like, I've had the same thing. I had, big brand X contact me. Let's do this project together. Great. Paid. Wonderful. You might see them next year. You might not see them for another 3 years. You might not ever see them again. Like, you don't know that that's coming back, but it's like those people, like you said, those people around you that you create those connections with that are constantly feeding you more jobs. They might not be the biggest jobs, but they add up over time, and they're consistently, they're coming back year after year, to give you work. And that's how you eat as a photographer.
Yeah. That's what sustains you.
Otherwise you're left sitting there going like, okay, how am I going to make my bills this month? Like it's,
I don't know about you, Case. I'm too big to be a starving artist.
Oh, you can't tell from I'm a big man. I'm definitely a large mammal.
So I can't be a starving artist out here. So.
I got too comfy. Well, the barbecue's too good down there in Houston. That's
yeah. We got brisket, and we do pretty good sausage. We do beef ribs. Food's Houston, man. Everybody tries to like, oh, our food. If you haven't eaten here, you don't.
I've been there. My in-laws used to live in Houston, so I'd go down there a couple times a year. Yeah.
What type of food do you like the best down here?
Barbecue, and I'm a big fan of Mexican food. So
Tex-Mex or Mexican?
I like real Mexican food. I also think Tex-Mex is fine, but I like real Mexican food.
Because our Tex-Mex is really, I tried every people. So I like our Mexican food a lot. But I don't know. I just like the Tex-Mex better because I don't know, brisket, the fajitas and things like that. So it's still like elements of barbecue with the beans and stuff like that.
I mean, like it's like when I cook a lot and I have like several sets of, like we've got the Tex-Mex cookbooks and then we've got the one that's like actually Mexico. So those are two separate things. And, like it's when you really want to get, I can't think of the word right now. Pork, not pastor, carnitas, like real carnitas. Yeah. Like that's a whole other thing. It's like, it's a lot like barbecue. It's all of that slow, low cooking stuff. And, yum. Yeah. I can't not eat.
Menudo on Sundays is my thing. I love their soups.
Like a good tortilla soup.
Mm. Oh man,
it's the best. Got to be a little spicy. I was just in Puerto Rico, and it was funny because I'm white, and like I ordered something, and they were just like, "Are you sure you want this? This is kind of spicy." And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I ordered it." And it was not that. It was not that spicy, but they were just like, "We were worried about you because you're a little pale."
I mean, what I said, not Menuda, Monfongo.
Mofongo.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Monfongo with the beef. If they have goat, I'm gonna do goat.
I like a good tostone, and
Oh
as
yeah,
well,
that's good.
it's delicious. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you're not going to eat.
Photography.
you're not gonna you're not gonna be a fat photographer if you don't have those people feeding you jobs over and over.
Yes.
Like that's you're just gonna yeah. And I certainly went in those. I made the mistakes at points in my career where I was like, oh, this is it. Thinking like that job was gonna like be there consistently every year, and I like made decisions based on like, oh, I got this big job. Um, there is no silver bullet job that's gonna like set you up for forever.
And I did all the right things. I followed up, emailed. I sent little gifts and thank yous. I put out work. I followed the contract to the T, and nobody from there called me back ever again. And come to find out, um, one of the people wasn't working there anymore.
Mm,
So that's just a nuance of big companies.
yeah,
So the
person.
people who found me and liked me aren't even there anymore.
Yeah, the thing that I've found there is to try to figure out where they went.
Yeah.
That's when somebody, it's a lesson I learned from my parents. They loved to go to Vegas, and
Mhm.
they'd go to Vegas and they'd make friends with whoever the person who was in charge of like client services, who
Mhm.
comps people stuff. So like that person would like eventually get a job somewhere else. They would go to Caesars, so they knew the person there, and that person like graduates and goes to MGM. So now they're like, we're going to go to Caesars because now we know the new person that they trained, who also is a friend of us. But we also go to MGM and spend a little time there because that's where our friend
Mhm.
moved. We're still like and they would send, my mother would send Christmas cards, find out their birthdays, send them birthday cards and stuff like that. But yeah, like making those connections with people and find out where they went. I was that happened to me be with a good corporate job that I was getting, and then just like I wasn't hearing back from them. Same thing, like the person had moved to another company, and so it took me like 6 months to find out where they went. And I reached out to them, and they were like, "Oh, we don't have anything yet." But eventually, like a year down the line, they were able to get me in there. So that was helpful.
Awesome.
But yeah,
And then LinkedIn is a great tool.
oh yeah,
It'll help you with that quest. It'll make it a lot quicker.
LinkedIn. Like I mean, this is the again making those connections and being able to say, "Hey, I know somebody you know."
Mhm.
It,
Mhm.
it's a foot in the door to be able to say like, "Oh, I worked with." You got to be careful about how you word it because you don't know what their relationship is. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, I noticed that you are connected to so and so. I've done some work for them before." Whatever. Like you don't lead in and be like, "Hey, we're the best friends," and they're like, "We're enemies." I
yeah. We
hate
don't
that
like
guy.
that guy.
I didn't like that guy. That's why I left that place. But I still have to have it open because I mean, it's just the world we live in that I got to keep that connection there. Um,
There's just nuances to this. So yeah. And I call them soft skills, and they took me a while to understand the soft skills. I knew the hard skills, exposure, light, direction of light, and intensity, and a lot of people focus on the hard skills and neglect the soft skills, or where that's what's gonna make or break this.
yeah,
Like,
if you're
yeah,
trying to run a business, you need to have those skills. Otherwise, you can be the greatest photographer in the world, and nobody's going to want to work with you,
yeah,
or you're not going to be able to like keep the jobs coming in. Just
yeah.
like by knowing. And again, this feels like for our listeners, this might feel like a recurring theme. I will always say like you don't have to be the best photographer in the world. You just have to have some people skills.
Um,
And
I one. So all right. So let me give you some insight. So this is what a production day looks like with me. I come on set. I get there about 30 minutes early. Right. Um, I meet every single person on production. I'm talking every security, because some productions you'll have security on premise. Everybody. What's your name? Say their name. Repeat it to myself, say their name. And at some point during the day, I say that person. Like, so if John, say John is security, thank you. It would be like, hey man, thank you very much, John. Appreciate you taking care of us and making sure we're safe at some point.
Yeah.
John might not have any power at all, right? But at the end of the day, he gets around management. He says, you know what? That Fred guy was cool.
Yeah.
So I meet every single person on production, right? Boom, right? Then I do a mini meeting with the production crew, like my crew, like, you know, we make sure, because sometimes you bring people from out of town or sometimes you come out of town and you meet people. And we want everybody to, you know, be cool, talk, say what we do, where we're from. Literally, I'm saying, hey, my name is Fred. And then John would be, hi, my name is John. Or Mary would be, hi, my name. We literally do that. Then I go meet with the higher ups, talk with them, and just, you know, make sure that they know I understand the mission for the day. Then we go from there and we go talk to the models. Because at the end of the day, if they're not comfortable, none of this is
you're not getting anything.
Yeah. So I go to them, let them know, hey, if you're not comfortable at any point in time, you just let me know. We'll take a break. I have no problem. Most models are super cool. They're happy to get paid. So they're super cool. You go from there, then you go to makeup or styling or, you know, anything. Talk to, then here's the secret sauce, guys. Get really cool with the PAs, like the assistants, because they're going to go somewhere else at some point in time.
Yeah.
And if they had a really good experience with you and say their friends aren't ready yet, you'll be the first person that they call.
Yeah.
Always keep up with because a lot of times people want to bring in their own people, but we're in a day and age where people have to have that honesty with themselves and say, because it's happened where I've even shot for, like, it was a couple, the girl has a boyfriend who's a photographer, but
he can't,
not there yet.
Yeah.
So she, you know, hires me and but it's from just another job. And so just being personable and memorable to every single person that you come across, that really helps out a lot.
Yeah. People, you brought up a really good point. Remembering everybody's name. Like just that simple thing of like knowing people's names and saying hi to them or whatever during the day. Like they're like, do you know how many people, like, I will, like, whatever job I'm on, I try to do the same thing. Like, even if it's a wedding, whatever, like knowing the names of the bridesmaids, groomsmen, knowing people's names so I can say like, hey, so-and-so, can you help me for a second? Like, hold this here, whatever. And everybody's kind of like, oh, like, they're just not like, hey, you, like that
buy in.
Yeah.
They buy in.
Yeah. They're
at first I used to do name tags. I would come to set with name tags
and give them out.
I was really, and just, hey, everybody, here's name tags. I don't want anybody calling AU or hey. And, you know, that's when I inserted a little dad joke because I don't want nobody calling anybody hey, because hey is for horses, guys. Everybody, ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Being a dad and dad jokes take you pretty far, too.
Yeah. being a chill person to hang around with. Like, takes you a long way. And I think that what you're talking about as far as soft skills are becoming a lost art in some ways. I think that the people don't realize that those things are really what elevates your game. It's what helps you stand out from all the people. And like you said, like, oh, they might have a friend who isn't quite there yet, but it's also like if the person they were going to hire isn't available, who are they going to hire? They're like, oh, something happened. I'm double booked. I'm sorry. I can't do that date for you. Or I'm, whatever the reason why their first choice person is now like not around to help work with them. And they're like, oh, I got to find somebody else. Oh, you know what? I had a really great time working with Fred. Then I'm going to give Fred a call, see if he's available to do this shoot because I had such a great time on that shoot. It was 5 years ago, but wonder if he's around and available, like that sort of thing. Like it sticks in your head I mean, I think of there are times when people ask me for recommendations if I'm not available, and it's like, oh, you know what? I like had a good like this person assisted me. They're a photographer now. I trust them. Like you should go talk to them because they were really good. Go give that person a call because like those things that stick in your mind. Whereas there are people who worked with me who I had the absolute worst experience with, and I will never work like recommend them for anything. And it's a small world, and whatever. Even like I'm in New York, it's still a small world amongst photographers.
Yeah.
Somebody called me and mentioned one of those people who had a bad experience his name with. I would be like, no, absolutely not. Don't do it. Just because like, I, I'm not going to say what they did, but like, there was just like people totally unprofessional behavior and, things that I would not abide by. And it's like, I'm not going to recommend that person for a job.
And ways to know if you failed the test or not. If they don't actually go get a beer with you afterwards, you failed.
Yeah.
You're out of there, man.
It's not happening.
It's not
And
happening. You're not getting the call back.
yeah, I mean, it's like, and after I'm done with a shoot or whatever, and I'm like, hey, everybody, let's go hang out, whatever. Like, we got at least we can hang out for a little while. Like, and if I'm like, not you, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign.
Not a good sign at all.
Yeah, don't go smoke weed like next in front of my client. Like that's not a good idea. Don't. Yeah, I had that happen, and I was just like, excuse me, what are you doing? You're leaving is what you're doing, because that's whatever you do in your personal time. That's your personal time.
I
But
want to be artist and think on a higher plane, but that's not what I need right now.
yeah, it's not what we're doing right now. This is not. We're not in that. This is not the phase that we're in.
Yeah.
But yes, that's it. It's the. I think that it comes to if you're out there and you're assisting somebody, or you're like this is like a whole other related topic. If you're in this business and you're going out and you're assisting someone, or you're working with them in some capacity, being that person that they don't have to tell what to do is like one great thing. The other thing is just like coming up with things that you can help with and like before they have to ask you that I need
Yeah.
something like the being that able to like, okay, they're going to need this. I'm going to be in position to like, that is your climbing the ladder on my recommendation list.
Intuitive and proactive. Those are
Absolutely.
the two things you have to be. If you're intuitive and you're proactive, it helps out a lot. Look at that puppy. No, my
Oh,
wife is friends out of town, so we're dog watching.
what kind of dog? Because my dog has been like, I have a border collie and she's been very needy today. I had to let her know that, like I'm going to be shutting myself in my office before this call.
What kind of dog is
That is
this?
a golden doodle
Okay, golden doodle. All right,
or
cool.
some kind of doodle. It's got the poodle hair. It's brown. I'm guessing it's a golden doodle.
Yeah, looks like it.
So I'm curious, Fred, what's the worst photography advice you've ever received? Or business?
Um, don't be too ego based in your decisions. Sometimes you're gonna have to be the little guy. Um, I'm a former athlete, and how can I say this one? I don't take nothing from I don't. I'm not the one. Like, don't.
Don't try me.
Yeah. And if I feel like you've tried me, I'll just be done. And I usually go out. I've learned a lot now to go out. You can remove yourself from a situation and do it tactfully, but before, nah. But yeah, you don't have to instantly close all bridges. Sometimes people don't know what they do, and because we're all learning. you know, and just have a chiller temperament towards everything. Don't make decisions based off your ego. Because if you, for instance, let's just say, let me give an example. Me, you, I do a photo shoot of you, right? And you're an up and coming tycoon business owner, right? And I get this amazing portrait of you, and you just run and post it everywhere. You make use it to make billboards and just all kinds of stuff, right? The younger version of me would be saying, you know, hey, I need to get paid like right now.
Mhm.
Now the older version of me would knows how to use soft skills and leverage that into something else. Just like, hey man, I'm really happy that that's a successful photo. That's tight. Da, da, da. Oh, and you can try to like, oh yeah, man, appreciate it. You know, and that's before I would have took that like, you know, like trying to play me to the side. Hell no,
Yeah.
you know, I need some money.
Yeah.
Like I need
You
to be
get paid.
compensated. No, I would just leverage it into something, you know, hey, I don't know if you know, but you've wronged me here. And instead of making this a thing, what can we do so that I'm righted?
Yeah. But
And
make good with me.
make good with me.
Yeah.
And I'm being a man and I'm telling you that you've wronged me, you know. So most people, once they know that they've wronged you, they'll try to make it right. In my instance, I did that part and they tried to make it right, but I still was just being egotistical and just was like, nah.
Yeah. I think that there was I mean, I tended to be in a different side, like, because I'm from the Midwest and we're like, I'm a people pleaser. And it's always like, oh, you know, like, oh, well, like, I'm sorry. Like, what do we need to do? Like, and I would have corporate clients who we would agree on net 30 or, you know, net 60 or whatever. And then the money didn't show up when they said I was going to. And I'm like, and I'd be reaching out and be like, hey, you know, I know sometimes it's hard for the money to like, yeah, like getting that first time for payments to come through. Like it can be difficult processing that stuff and being understanding, whatever. And then just like getting no response. And I'd be like, oh, it's me. They hate me, whatever. And just like, and just sort of like, you know, making it about what's going on in my head. And like, you know, they don't respect me or whatever the reason like I would come up with instead of being like, at that point, I needed to be more forceful and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, we had a contract. Like, and now you're like cutting off communication. Um, and that it helped that my wife is in like the legal field. Like she started like, we would get to the point I'd say, like, this is what happened. And be like, no, you don't need, this is what you need to say. These are the things you need to say. Like, this was in the contract and coming up with like a firm line. But yeah, like there were other times where I would come back and say that like, oh, hey, just, and people would be like, oh, we're so sorry. Like in trying to make it up instead of being angry about what was done, they came back and were like, oh, let's make it right. You know, let's do this like that. We're sorry that this happened because they're dealing with 900 other people, you know, in their payment, you know, system. And, you know, you are just one of hundreds of people that they're paying. And to understand that like that's also what's happening is good, like, but also there's got to be a line that you draw and be like, hey, listen, you're taking advantage of me. At this point, like I wish I had learned that sooner. I think that was a skill that I could have learned earlier
All
on.
right, so I'm gonna give the listeners a trick. One, if you're in your early 20s, you don't have that many friends that are lawyers yet, but it's coming. Once you get about 25, 26, 27, 28, you will have a lawyer in your circle. Okay. So this is what you do. You ask the lawyer, you can say, and this is what I'm telling you what it might cost you. You can ask the lawyer to look over the contract. You're looking at on the low end, $200 to $300. And this is your friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can read over the contract and know where you're right and wrong. Okay. Right. Then you say, hey, lawyer friend, I just want to include you in the email. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. And I want to say XYZ. Are you okay with that? And how much will that cost? And you'll be surprised. Some lawyer friends will say free. Some lawyer friends say, hey, send me $100. Some
Yeah.
lawyers say $200, but that escalates the crap out of emails. I mean, everything. It's really fast. But like I said, you won't have this liberty or privilege until you get to a certain age and have actual lawyer friends in your circle that will be okay with being in an email. If
Yeah.
you do that with some random lawyer somewhere, they will.
Yeah. Don't go to your local Facebook group and be like, hey, who's a lawyer here that I can talk to? Yeah, it's one of those lessons that, or just make friends with a lawyer.
Right.
Like find somebody, make friends with them. It helped me a lot, like both because my wife was familiar with the law and like she would give me pointers, but she would also be like, well, you can just CC me on your next communique with them and just be like,
It works.
not saying anything. But can I tell you what? That ended any number of disputes just because they along with like, oh, you're involving somebody else who is at a law firm in this
The
conversation. Like,
one
I'm
time I had to
serious
do
about
it,
this.
the one time I had to do it, said, hey, da, 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 and this is who my lawyer that I've retained. And if we can't resolve this at XYZ, I will no longer be communicating with you and they will be.
Yeah.
And 99, I don't know what, for me, I'm 100% right now. I don't know. What about you? I'm 100% got paid. I got
Yeah.
paid after that email.
I got paid, and then there was another time where I was like, they had taken one of my photos. This was a publishing company, who had was starting uh, a dating website that was focused on New York City, and they took a photo that I had off my website of a couple like kissing on the Brooklyn Bridge
Mhm.
and made it their like hero image
Well,
on their website. And somebody else who knew me was like, hey man, did you like this is how much did you get paid for this? And I was like, what do you mean? Because he was like gonna like sign up for the site, and he was like, I know this is your photo, and I was like, what? And I went and I sent them an email and said like, hey, what's going on? This needs to come down. You don't have my permission. We don't have the permission of the couple. Like, there's a lot going on here that is wrong. I'm not getting paid for this is one of those things. And I said, you need to, and they're like, I got this response that was, oh, an intern just like pulled that, whatever, thought that, again, the old adage of it's on the internet. We must be able to just use it because you posted it somewhere on the internet.
Another pointer, guys.
Yeah.
If you're going to use anything to make money, make sure you pay whoever you're going to. If it involves you making money,
yeah,
someone probably needs to get paid.
Yeah, right. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't make this go away. And they're like, well, I don't know. And I was just like, I did the same thing, like just CCing on the email. Like, well, if we have to escalate this, I will, but like, you need to take it down immediately. And then we need to discuss compensation for you having used it. Because I don't know how long it's been up, but you've been using it. I know how much a copyright infringement case will cost you. But let's talk about compensation. And I did get paid, for them using it. I'm sure that intern got fired, even though probably wasn't really their fault. Like, somebody looked over that and said, yeah, sure, let's go with it. And didn't ask to get clearance.
And they might have not known.
Yeah.
And they had to learn the hard way. And so that's part of it.
That's a whole other lesson that people need to learn. And I've been seeing it again on threads a lot, is people saying like, oh, you posted it to the internet, people can use it. Like, no, that's not how copyright works. There's a photographer here in New York who constantly gets his work stolen by like aggregator accounts and people, and it like has his watermark like probably 8 times in each photo. And people will email him or DM him on Instagram and say, hey, can you take your watermark off these photos so that we can post that to, and is that okay with you if we just like, if you could, because it's going to look weird with your name all over it when we post it to our account. Like the gall, unmitigated gall.
Do you think they don't know, or
I
they don't
think that
care?
they think that if anything is posted on the internet, it is fair game because like somebody like he was posting it and something like, can you believe this? And somebody responded in the like commented and said, oh, well, there's not a thing that says copyright your name. So it's not copyrighted. Like that's not how
No,
copyright law works, buddy.
embedded in the file.
Yeah. Like they don't, there's just like there's a real misunderstanding about intellectual property. And I think the more photographers know about it and can educate people, the better off we would be.
There's an actual website where you can go and do all your copywriting. What I tell everybody, just if you have like a photo that's a banger,
Yeah.
go and do it real quick, right? But
I
if
mean,
you don't have, good.
everything is automatically, but yes, the ones that you think like, people are going to want to use that. Like those are the ones.
You'll do it. And you'll know too. You'll post it on social media, and 10,000 likes later. Yeah, go. Because what you don't understand is that photo is just now it's
Taking on a life. Yeah.
It's gone. And when you have one like that, and it might not even be a photo with 10,000 likes. It might be on a blog that it's a really strong photo, and you get, I don't know, 1,000 views on that blog. Anytime you get a large amount of traffic for something that you put on the internet, go copyright it. And please, if you have the time, put the website. It's an actual website that people can go and check it out and see. How much does it cost again? I haven't done it.
I think that you're talking about
a group of photos, 50 photos at a time.
Yeah.
Is it 50?
I think it's 50, and I think it's like it might be like $10 a piece, something like that, or maybe more. Can't remember.
No. I think you pay like a fee for the session of photos that you put in. I don't think it's per photo.
It's not. Oh, it's been a long while.
Yeah, that means we need to go out there.
I'll go out and find it. You know what? I'm going to put all that information in the episode notes. I'm going to put that link in there so that people can just click on the episode notes for this episode, and it'll take you where you want to go.
It's an actual U.S. government website. It's not like some crack pipe type thing. The actual government website. You're going to go on there, and you'll have the file name, and you'll put it on there, and the name of you'll have to give the piece a name. So whatever
you have to title it.
Actually title it, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll put it in there, and then you pay for the fee, and then you'll get a copyright, and they'll mail it to you. And you'll have a physical and an email. Can't remember. I haven't had a photo though that crazy. Maybe 2-3 years that I had to do.
Yeah, it's been a little longer for me since I've used that. But yeah, I think I decided I'm like, oh, here's like 30 photos I'm gonna definitely knock out and make sure that I've got the official, because it's like there's this whole thing like you automatically have a copyright on it. That if you register it individually, like specifically with the Copyright Office, you have much better. So that listeners understand, you will have a much easier time fighting that copyright case if you've sent it in and like specifically registered that individual piece.
So you can like Capture One, Lightroom, Adobe Bridge, Photoshop. No, I don't know about Photoshop, but those other ones that I listed, you can go put your copyright information in there. You can actually even put your copyright information in your camera. I know with Fujifilm, you're able to put your copyright info in there to the point where it's your name and website for sure. So those are ways that you can copyright it, right? But what we're talking about is actually copywriting it with the United States government. So if any situations come up legality wise, there's no talking.
Right. You just say like, hey, here's the document that says this is, here's the government document saying this is registered with the Copyright Office. And that will end conversations pretty quickly because it's like a $250,000 fine per instance, or like a reward per instance is like the maximum I think you get. It's interesting. We did episode on copyright infringement where they had, there was like a fair use that people always talk about, like, well, what's fair use of things? And there's, trust me, like fair use is not like I'm going to go out and make money off this. So if somebody's making money off your photo, that's not like that is commercial usage of your image. So that's what, like we were saying before, you're like, somebody's making money off of it, somebody's got to get paid.
Yeah, you got to get paid. You take a photo of Jimmy Boy Jim, and he's like, man, I'm handsome in this photo. I'm gonna go plaster this all over the place to start my rap career, and he's showing this, and he puts it on tickets, he puts it on posters, it's on his website, and these are all mechanisms in which he's getting, making you, or he should pay you.
Yes.
If he doesn't, you are entitled to some compensation.
Yes, this is also why we should have signed agreements, like a contract
on the front end.
On the front end. This is why you go out and get a contract and then give it to you. Like, I just sent 2 of them out today to clients saying like, hey, this is just like spells out what you can use these images for. Yeah, you can use it on social media. Yeah, you can use it as like, in a newsletter or something like that. What you can't use it on, like you said, I'm going to put this on a poster and sell it. No, you can't. You got to pay me extra. There's got to be a licensing fee for that, or things like, like anything this is usually would be like putting it on packaging or anything like that. Like this is becoming, when I used to do more musician photos, it was always a discussion of like, okay, yes, you can use this to promote yourself. You can put it on your website. I have no problem with that. That's included in the fee that you paid me, putting it on your website. If you put it on your CD cover or you use it as the album artwork for your MP3 or whatever, your EP, whatever, then that's a whole other thing. You're selling it now. Now you're selling my work.
Yep. So, yeah. And then you want to go down all the instances. We could talk about different instances where people need to. Man, I feel like we're giving out so much right now.
So this is a treasure trove of advice.
Y'all are getting it for real, because usually when the podcast, sometimes we can get into banter that doesn't really it gives you the frame of reference of our mind and things like that, but we're not giving you the actual things.
Let's be fair, we were talking about barbecue for a while.
Yes, we were. So let's see, friend, situations in which you should have a contract. You can use them in all, literally. You can, have a contract if you're going to go shoot an event. But I think model releases are really big. I think you need to do that. Anytime you're dealing with a business, I think you should have a contract, and nothing crazy. Just agreed deliverables, agreed time to deliver, and just
usage.
And then what happens if they don't pay you when they said they're going to pay you, and what happens if you don't deliver when you say you're going to deliver.
Right.
It's literally what you can come up with, and that's pretty much all you need. Oh, and then expenses.
Yeah.
If some unforeseen expenses come up, like, so if you come to the event and you gotta pay for parking, in the contract you need to let them know, like, hey, I will, any unforeseen expenses will be passed on to you.
Right. Like if you told me I get to park for free. Yeah, if you told me I get to park for free, but I don't get to park for free, then I'm gonna like bill you for the parking. Like that sort of thing. You're including in there, and it can be like a very simple, like you said, like one page. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Like you spell out the things, like, and you mentioned model releases, and you're protecting both sides here with think of it like a contract or an agreement is something that protects both you and your subject or your client. Like that's the thing of people going, oh, I don't want to sign a contract, or I don't want to sign something. Like it's protecting them and you. Like you said, it like covers when you're supposed to deliver, what you're supposed to deliver, and what happens if you don't deliver it on time, as well as, like, I always bring it up to, because sometimes like corporate clients will be like, oh, this is just like a 2-hour event, that we're having you come in for. I'm like, yeah, but I need to cover my ass. Make sure I get paid. I got to make sure that I'm got to make sure I'm giving you what you want.
Yeah.
And that we've also spelled out that you're getting the usage rights that you need for these images.
Then, with weddings, that's more about deliverables and retainer and stipulations of the day.
Oh man.
You should definitely do.
You should definitely have a contract for a wedding.
Because I've had weddings that canceled. I've had weddings that moved and increased my expenses, but they wanted it to keep it the pay the same.
Right.
And I was like, oh, right here it says if I have to drive this far or more, let's see. So model releases, contracts with all businesses, retainer clients. I think you should also have. So, because you'll have clients that will come in retainer, and let's just say that the content that you're making for them isn't, knocking it out the park like they wanted to. They want to bail early, and
right.
No, we're assigned to this many things.
Yeah, that's something I should have learned to do. Like I had what was supposed to be a recurring corporate headshot gig. And they told me like, oh, we're going to have you come in and do like headshots for 50 people every month for the next year. And I was like, okay. Well, we got through like 3 of them, and then they decided to go with somebody cheaper. I knew what happened, and they were just like, oh, we're coming in. I'm like, oh, but we had this agreement, and they're like, there's nothing we signed that said that we have to use you for all of like the whole year. And I'm like, that's on me too, for like not having something, there that could come back to and be like, no, this is what you agreed. You have to.
Yeah. Some type of protections.
Yeah.
So contracts your friend. So copywriting, your friend. Contracts, your friend. Barbecue in Texas, your friend.
Do you have your own website? Are you tired of dealing with slow loading pages and poor support from your current web hosting company? Consider switching to SiteGround, the top rated web hosting company that provides 24/7 support and super fast hosting speeds. SiteGround's platform is built on the premium Google Cloud infrastructure, ensuring top reliability, security, and speed for your website. Their fast network and storage provide optimal site speed and a high level of redundancy, so you can trust that your website will be up and running smoothly at all times. With SiteGround's ultra-fast server setup, your pages will load 30% faster on average, giving your visitors a better user experience and improving your website's SEO. And with hosting starting from just $199 per month, it's affordable for any budget. Plus, if you're not completely satisfied, SiteGround offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't suffer with a terrible web hosting company any longer. Make the switch to SiteGround and experience top-level support, super fast hosting, and a reliable, secure platform for your website. I spent years with a web hosting company that was absolutely terrible. My site was constantly getting hacked, and support was nearly impossible to get a hold of. Since switching to SiteGround, all of those problems are in the past. Just visit nerdyphotographer.com/recommends/SiteGround or click the link in the episode notes to get started and begin enjoying faster, more reliable web hosting today. Hey. And now for my favorite part of the show. What's that say? Useless information. This is always death. True or false? John Wayne was offered a lead role in Blazing Saddles.
False.
True.
I knew it.
Yes, he was offered a role. It doesn't say what in my book. It doesn't say what role it was. I'm guessing it's the sheriff. I'm guessing it's what's his name? Not sheriff. The Slim Whitman guy who.
I don't even remember the movie.
The guy. Somebody go back and get a shitload of dimes. That guy. Lepetamine Freeway.
No, it's not clicking. It's now when we get off the internet, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole.
You'll know what I'm talking about. The guy with he was in Doctor Strangelove. He's the one who like rides the bomb down.
No, I know John Wayne is. But
No.
I just did.
No. The guy who was in Blazing Saddles. I think he's. I'm guessing that's.
Oh, the person you're saying he should have been.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was the character that Mel Brooks offered him. Yeah, apparently he said no, but that he was really excited to see the movie.
I'm already doing it.
Watching you type it in.
Yes, he did. No.
It's Slim.
So he would have been Gene Wilder.
No, I'm thinking he would have been Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens, let's see.
Who's we'll come in a whooping and a wailing.
Okay, I know exactly. Okay, I see him with the stash.
Yeah, I think that's the character that John Wayne would have played if they were offering
him to be in the movie.
Yeah, that's my guess.
That's funny. I'm going to go into a deeper. I'm actually going to probably end up watching the movie now. Thanks.
They used to play that movie on like Saturday afternoon regular TV, and I was like, "What?" I can't imagine now that like what the decision making process there was.
So is that what kids think about Martin now when Martin's on TV?
Maybe, possibly.
Who are these old people? Why are their clothes so colorful?
Fred, thank you so much for coming on. I really had a blast talking to you. You're welcome to come back anytime you want. Where can people find you on the interwebs and the social media?
Yes, on the internet. You can, let's do the IG thing. It's my name, which is Fred, last name Agho. I also have a website, www.fujifred.com. And then I also have another website, which is www.fred.agho.com. You're looking around. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. Right. I'm just looking at it. I was like, I've got this stuff up. I've got it all in my in the background of on my computer. And what I was going to say is I'm going to put all those links also in the episode notes so people can go right there and find.
I talk a lot of smack on Twitter. And it's Fred AGHO _.
You can find you're still on Twitter. I don't know.
X. I'm sorry, on X. I call it Twitter every day.
I still call it Twitter. The platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah. Platform formerly. Okay, print.
Just make it a symbol. That's all I did. He just made it a symbol. And welcome back. Many thanks to Fred Agho for being on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm definitely in the mood for barbecue right now. You can find Fred's links in the episode notes. Get in there and follow him. You won't be disappointed. While you're clicking those follow buttons, be sure to subscribe to the show and follow along with the Nerdy Photographer on social media at The Nerdy Photo. That's at The Nerdy Photo, no dots, underscores, or dashes, on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, and Reddit. You don't want to miss out on all the discussions and things that go on between episodes. There's a lot of stuff. There's like fun memes. There's, tutorials, lots of stuff.
Snug.
Too much heat?
Snug!
I don't know what you're talking about. Until next time, stay safe and stay nerdy.
Who's that coming back to town? You better start listening. Who's your heart been beating about? You better listen.